My name's Carlo. I run a cycling YouTube channel, but I don't care about bikes. Okay, let me explain. A few weeks ago, there was a gravel race, and I love gravel races. They're fun. You could adventure ride it or you could race it. And I couldn't go, so I forgot about it. And then I noticed photos of that race coming out from my social media feed, and I gotta say, man, I felt a little FOMO. Not FOMO because I already missed it, but I really wished I was there. I started looking at my friends' Strava posts. I wanted to get a sense of what it was like to ride that race. I started looking around YouTube, trying to see if somebody posted a recap video. And the one thing that I was not really looking at were the bikes. I mean, sort of. Well, the interesting thing with gravel races is the people's bike setups are different. You know, what size tires, what kind of bike they were riding. But, what I'm trying to say is that I was not drooling over the bikes. I was drooling over the rides. Because to me, at a certain point, bikes are just tools. Now, don't get me wrong, I love good bicycles. I love seeing bicycles. I still felt that glee the last time I purchased a bike. But as anyone who has purchased anything, that glee, that new shiny thing that you purchased, that glee, that little bit of happiness disappears fairly quickly. There's actually a name for this phenomenon. It's called the hedonic adaptation. So the hedonic adaptation, it is the tendency for humans to return to a relatively stable level of happiness despite major positive or negative events or life changes. In the case of purchasing new stuff, the pleasure of acquiring something new wears off over time as you get used to it and take it for granted. We've all felt this way, one way or another. When I first bought my Canyon, I was elated. But now, I still love the Canyon, don't get me wrong, but it's a tool in my toolbox / bike garage. Because if my Canyon stays in the garage all the time, it's not really giving me happiness. When I first noticed this phenomenon, that hedonic adaptation, it made me realize not to put too much value in the experience of buying new stuff. Because if I kept looking for that high of buying new stuff all the time, then I would just keep buying more stuff. I would eventually run out of money. I would end up with so much stuff that I don't want or need, and that would just lead to another cycle called the hedonic treadmill. So here's why I like rides more than bikes. The reason why I was feeling FOMO from that gravel race when I saw all those pictures online on Facebook was that those pictures reminded me of what it was like when I joined my last gravel race. I remember being hyped up before the race. I remember that nervousness of getting ready, going to the start line. And then when the race finally started, I remember being able to latch on to a chase group, and it was so exciting. I also remember bonking and suffering throughout that ride and being barely able to finish. It was so much fun. I'm having trouble just staying on the bike. I am fucked. And I remember after the race just hanging out with a bunch of guys, having a couple of drinks, and just enjoying good company. And the fact that those memories are still there and they still come back to me means that I am still able to enjoy those memories over and over again. I'm not even gonna talk about the personal growth of doing something super hard and how fulfilling that feels. But that's in there too. I'm gonna focus more on fun, memorable experiences because those things allow us to relive them over and over again. We get to feel that sense of gratification over and over again. Have you heard of that expression that you should spend money more on experiences and not on things? Buying a bicycle is a mixture of spending money on this beautiful piece of machinery, but at the same time, you are also spending money on the possibility of experience. It's a possibility because it's only an experience if you choose to create memories with it. Otherwise, it's just a shiny new toy. Here's a good question to ask whenever you make purchases. Does purchasing this promise a memorable experience? That may be a good question to ask when buying anything, because it does not apply just to the bicycle. And now, I am happily going to apply it to the sponsor of this video, Curve Coffee Collaborators. One of the many things that I've purchased over the years that gives me that shiny new thing type of happiness, but at the same time continues to give me good feelings on a daily basis, is my home brewing equipment. I personally have a good grinder, weighing scale, ripple dripper, an AeroPress, a kettle, and more. These are things that don't break the bank, and all something you can find at the curve.coffee website. And of course, you'll need good coffee beans to go with that. Incidentally, Curve happens to make some of the best coffee beans in the Philippines, so that's a good place to start. Manually brewing a cup of coffee has become a sort of daily ritual for me that forces me to slow down and be present. It's almost like a 5-minute meditation, to be honest. So it's been very important for me in that sense. I'm happy Curve has been helping me make memories through coffee. Thanks, Curve, for sponsoring the vlog. So again, having a new bike is great, but make sure you make some memories with that bike so you can enjoy it even more. So let me know in the comments what memories you were able to make with your bicycle. I'm thinking of making another video about epic memories or core memories or epic rides that I've had over the years. Rides that I still think about today. Probably sometime in the future. Anyway, if you want to hear more from me, I publish a weekly newsletter called The Villain Diary. You can subscribe over here, and you can unsubscribe at any time if you ever feel like that's not your cup of tea. Alright, see you next time.